Arr, let's set sail on the seven seas. Hoist the mainsail. We're gonna find this treasure.
Hey, whoa, man! What the hell are we talking about? First of all, what are you doing right now?
We're talking about pirates and piracy.
Bro. That's not what we're doing here, bro. Like, we're talking about the piracy of like before LimeWire, Netflix, all that stuff. What are you talking about? Like, are you trying to be like a pirate now?
No way,
dude.
What?
Come on. What are you doing? Why are you doing that right now? Let's start off with that.
We're talking about pirates and piracy, man.
I understand, but that's the wrong piracy, man. What is your issue right now?
That's lame.
Matt, just play the music.
We're geeks from the multiverse. We've come to unite all geeks. Now it's time to get geeky and dive right in, 'cause we're geeks from the multiverse.
Hey everybody, this is your boy John, aka Captain Mustache, and as always with me, my good old co-host here, good old Grumpy Beard, aka Matt.
Arr!
What the hell, bro? Didn't we just talk about this?
Hey,
what was that impression of yours?
Arr!
What is that?
It's Captain Grumpy Beard.
Captain Grumpy Beard to you, matey. He's like, well, you're Captain Mustache, and I'm like, you're right. I mean, at least my name has it in it. You're just like, I'm Captain Grumpy Beard.
Arr, yeah.
I mean, no, you're a civilian. Get it right. No. Anyway.
So yeah, we are just a bunch of weirdos, but yes, we are talking about piracy. Not that kind of pirate, not like Captain Jack Sparrow piracy, but we are talking about piracy, digital piracy. Back in the maybe 90s, early 2000s, really.
We're gonna say it before anyone, but before the year 2000. Let's just start with that.
Yes,
and then we'll work on getting that moving forward.
Right.
Anyway.
So back before there were privacy laws, because there were privacy laws, but it was really like piracy wasn't just like against the rules. It was straight up illegal to share music, and it was like the biggest one was the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA. This was signed in 1998, and it was basically Uncle Sam's way of saying you just can't copy a CD and give it to everyone on the planet.
Before we even read any further, like what are some of your experiences before, the year 2000? Before, well, I would say even before all this, like when you were growing up, when it came to like, pirating, certain things or doing certain things back then. Because, for me, I mean, yeah, of course, this was, I was only 5 when this thing came out. Technically, if we're gonna get technical here, but like, I can only I do. Of course, remember like Napster and LimeWire and stuff like that, early on.
Neither confirm nor deny that I downloaded music.
I can't confirm anything. I plead the fifth on this one. No, but I mean,
I don't need the FBI raiding my house.
No, but I mean, I would say
I think most people that were Gen Xers have used LimeWire, Pirate Bay.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I don't think that people have not done it, but I mean, it was primarily for music. But like, I think. Have I downloaded like movies that were still in theaters and struggled through the subtitled audio? Yes, I have done that. No, but it was one of those things like you've done it. Have I shared music myself? No.
I mean, and it's funny because for me, it was always like growing up. It was like I would always, of course, I had like the original like iPod Shuffle or even like the original iPod Classic and stuff. But even before that, I mean, I remember my dad having the Zune. You remember those?
Oh yeah.
So like, and of course, I know everyone before that would have been like, like your Amtrak, like well before like your Amtraks, or like again if you were vinyl, or if you were, basically like a Walkman was another big one. But like I'm just saying like these are all things like well before.
And back in the day, like there is no Spotify. There's no. I mean, I think even Netflix was
just literally a DVD service that you would literally, yes, believe it or not, it was just kind of like Blockbuster in the sense of like, but you would honestly have to go online. You'd have to order what movies you wanted, and then they would send the DVDs, and then
in the mail.
And then you'd have to send it back when you were done if you wanted to get a new one.
Yeah.
So like before all the streaming, like that's what I'm saying is like, everyone's like, oh, it's streaming. I'm like, yeah, streaming really didn't become a thing until probably in the last, 5-10 years, easily. Depending on which service you're, I mean, at least Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix was the biggest one, but everything else was kind of like afterwards.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get a little bit of the privacy laws, and then we'll get through this because the privacy laws are the most boring part of the episode.
Yeah, that's
but,
true.
But the DMCA was signed in 1998, and basically it was like you can't just share a CD and give it to everyone on the planet. It made it a crime to distribute copyrighted material, which is like music, movies, software, whatever. You can't do it without permission, whether you're selling it or just sharing it online. And then came after that was the no electronic theft. That was the Net Act of 97, which I guess is actually before it. I don't know why the notes say that, but that closed the loophole that let people say, well, I didn't make money from it.
Yeah, right.
That closed that loophole, which was like, there's no electronic theft. So you basically said that your intent didn't matter. You uploaded it. And then basically from those two acts, like you could face up to 5 years in prison and $250,000 per offense.
That's insane. I mean, even if you think about it back then versus now, I mean, most people think, oh, that's doable back then. I mean, if you had to think about it, that could be close to like half to, let's say, $750,000 now. Like if you're putting it into perspective when it comes to like fines and all this other stuff. So like back then, you're talking $250,000. I mean, most people weren't making nowhere near $250,000. So to put that as bail, I mean, at that point, you might as well just basically put up your house because that's the only way you'd be able to get out of that fine.
Yeah.
Like it's just unrealistic.
So the RIAA, which is the Recording Industry Association of America, and then the Motion Picture Association of America, that's the MPAA. They used those full laws to go full scorched earth in the 2000s. They dropped lawsuits on anyone who shared files through Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, and even torrent sites like Pirate Bay got hammered under international copyright treaties, which forced countries like Sweden, of all countries, to treat digital piracy like organized crime.
So I'm gonna say this real quick. The only two I really know, of course, were Napster and LimeWire. Now, granted, Napster was, the founder of that basically helped Facebook originally kind of get to where Facebook was at later on down the road. But like Napster at the time, of course, was just another streaming service, just like LimeWire. I never heard of Kazaa.
Kazaa was more like LimeWire.
Okay, because that one seems like a
I've used all three. To be
He's
honest,
like, I'm gonna be doing yeah.
I've used all three, but yeah, I mean, Kazaa is much like LimeWire. It's if you don't know what any of these are, basically what happens is when you upload, say, an album. So I'll make it easier. You upload a song, okay? It goes, say you're using. I'll put LimeWire as an example. You upload like a song. Say it's 8 Mile. Well, I'll just throw it out there. You upload, 8 Mile by Eminem into LimeWire. You go on and you're like, I really want to download 8 Mile. What ends up happening is you may download a small little segment of it because I'm not the only one who might have uploaded 8 Mile. So you have probably millions of people, thousands of people who's also uploaded this song. And what ends up happening is when you're downloading this, you're basically downloading a torrent file, and you're downloading small segments of this downloaded file. It's very, very small little pieces of this file until you get the entire file. So you're literally downloading like a small piece for me, a small piece from a guy in Germany, a small piece of a guy from Sweden, a small, you're downloading like very, very small segments of people from all over the world until you get the whole entire file.
Well, right, but the question is like, I know back in the day, I mean, when you're doing all this, like people would think, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to get the whole thing. I mean, granted, that was how their loophole was, is like if they're not downloading the complete song, they're only downloading those little bits from everybody else. Hopefully, it's the same song and not just like some made up version of that specific song.
Well, yeah,
song,
I mean, it is the song, but you're talking like there are people that had literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of songs that they were torrenting out. Right. So
So that was the loophole there.
When you're downloading these songs, it was like, well, I'm sharing them out for the world, and the artists that were, and we'll get to all this, but the artists that were trying to make money on this, you're not spending money on buying these albums. The artists are not making money, and this is why these copyright laws were put into place, because you're stealing from the artists that are making these albums.
Well, right, and on top of that, I mean, because like if you think back in the day, like you had to buy the CD or the vinyl or whatever it was at the time. So like that was how they would get their money. In this case, because the digital age was becoming to be, yeah, it makes perfect sense of why they had to do it. Because at that point, everyone's like, oh well, the internet. Oh look, perfect. We can just do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Napster, LimeWire's like
movies were a lot more complicated because literally somewhere, and usually they were foreign countries.
Oh yeah,
people were going into theaters recording the actual. There were groups of people that would record the movies on video, and then another group that would record the audio, and then somewhere they would merge the two together, but the audios would never quite match, match right. But like, so if you were downloading like The Matrix when it first came out, but it was still in theaters, like you can go, oh, I want to watch The Matrix. It's still in the theaters. Let me torrent this. It probably would take like 3 days to download.
Right back in the day, yeah.
You would watch it and like the audio is like really crappy. It's like, it sounds like it was recorded in someone's jacket. Because it was.
Because most people were doing. You're right. Because most people were doing that shit. And the worst part is that even if people still do it to this day.
Oh no, they still do it, and like you can watch the movie, but you have to like in the background you hear people going, and then you see people like walking in front and sitting down.
You're just like, what is this? What movie am I watching right now?
Yeah.
Well, and then the worst part, I was going to say this real quick, is that the worst part is like you're hoping that it is the actual film, because God forbid that it's something completely different. I'm only going to say this for what it is, but like, God forbid if it was porn or something like random, and then you're like, what is it that I'm watching right now?
This is the wrong Matrix.
What is going on here right now? No, but it's true though, because you really didn't know what you were going to watch, because at that point,
or what kind of viruses you're going to
right, from the computer.
So the dawn of digital piracy. This is like the pre-Spotify, pre-streaming service. So Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO Max, Amazon Prime did not exist. That like it was not around. This is the Napster era. Napster launched in 1999. Sean Fanning. It really like revolutionized how people got music, because nobody got music this way. So instead of buying CDs, you could simply type in a song and download it from somebody else's hard drive. And this is basically like when you bought CDs, like you could save it on your computer. When you downloaded Napster, well, it would say, you could basically, it would save into Napster, and you just typed in a song and then you could download it. And it was a peer-to-peer concept that really felt like, I don't know if futuristic is the word, but it really felt like you were just like, hey, this person has a song. Now I have the song. It was like, it felt great at the time.
Well, it felt great, but at the same time, it's like, depending on what device you're using. So like, I mean, technically iPods weren't invented yet as of this moment, but like if you had like your Walkman or like similar to a Zune or something like that, where you could download a lot of this, like through Napster or LimeWire, you could, digitally put it on your, like basically an MP3 player is really the best way to put it, like, but a digital one, not like, like a CD player or anything like that. But like, this is like, again, the prime years for all this, because at the same time, now everyone's like, oh, I don't have to bring like a CD player with me or a Walkman or something like that. Now I can actually listen to it on a device, and I can listen to it anywhere and not have to have like this giant thing to be able to listen to it. So, I mean, it made sense for what it was at their time, but at the same time, like, so this is just kind of a random example here, but like Metallica versus Napster in like 2000. Metallica discovered an unfinished demo. It was called I Disappeared. It was circulating before its official release. Q Lars Ulrich leading a lawsuit that made headlines. Why do I keep saying Metallic? Anyways, Metallica became the band that hated fans, even though their argument wasn't totally wrong. It was because they're losing money. So,
Yeah, I mean that was huge.
Well, it was huge.
Yeah, that was huge because I mean the huge debate here was it stealing or was it sharing, and people were arguing like, I'm not stealing anything. I'm just copying and sharing. And at the time, like there wasn't like a legal precedent for it. There wasn't an ethical like basis for it because the excitement was real. Like it was like, this is like, I'm just sharing it with like people. I'm not like selling, I'm not selling it. Like who am I stealing from? And Metallica was like, we're making this music to make money. Like this is what we do for work.
Well, so here's the thing though. I mean, how many artists do you know that would probably have like unfinished, albums or like mixtapes or something like that just because they're like, either they're waiting on like trying to reduce or like produce something else and like, maybe putting it in there. Like there's so many artists that maybe don't actually publicly say it, but like they have a lot of like music that they might have recorded, never wanted to release it and like wanted to do something else with it. But this is a prime example of like when you're looking at a band like Metallica and you're saying, hey, we want to share the music with everybody else. And they're saying, like you're saying, like, yeah, this is our living. This is how we make our money and how we became to be and so on and so forth. And so now you're, in my opinion, no. I mean, people can say, oh, well, it's, it's the band's fault, for not wanting to do it. No, they probably had a very good reason on why they didn't want to do it at the time. But this guy's like, nah, we're just going to sell it to everybody or really just share it to everybody in the world and say, here you go. Like, let's hear what they had to say. And it's like, no, like it, I'm sorry. It'd be like, if Matt wasn't like finished with the book and I said, what, screw it. I'm just going to share it with everybody real quick. He'd be like, what the fuck, man? He'd be like, that's stupid. Why would you share my book if I'm not ready to, produce it yet? No, but it's the same idea. I mean, cause like it's his book and he's trying to, I'm not saying he has to make a living off of it, but it's just making sure like he's the one doing it and not somebody else doing it. And that's why during this time frame, I get it. That's huge.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of they having that unfinished demo and having it circulate around the world. That's kind of bullshit, but
that's kind of bullshit in my opinion.
But people argued like, I'm not really stealing, I'm just sharing and copying, and that's really the nostalgic, but one of these things too, it's like, I mean, I can remember back then, and I don't know if it was really just dial up, but I remember the whole dial up DSL thing.
Oh God, don't even get me started.
Just when you can just imagine if you were downloading an album, not just this says one song, but I would imagine like you're like, ooh, Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish just came out, right? And you're like, I need to download it. And you're like, okay, well, it's going to take 20, 30 minutes. And then somebody in your family needs to make a call.
Yep.
And you just hear hey, get off the phone. Like, I need to download Limp Bizkit.
Son of a bitch. I mean, you're not wrong, though. I mean, because nowadays, I mean, like we were joking before with like the consoles, like, the fact that you had to find a save point back in the day and do all this in order to do certain things where, now you could just pause it to come back in 3 hours and it'd be fine, or even download something that was.
Well, now it's like, what do you mean 200 gigs takes 30 minutes? Come on.
Like, God damn it. I wanted to. Right, exactly. It's the same idea. But here's the other thing. I know you probably remember this too. Well, of course you're going to remember it. But like, instead of like, because instead of buying ringtones, this is a prime example. What was the one thing people would do if they wanted to be like, oh man, I want to get this song as my ringtone? What would somebody do if they were going to do that back in the day, if they had to record something or do something to put it on their phone?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the one they'd listen to it, and then what they would do is they push record on their phone, and then basically use that as the ringtone. Where, like, because people are like, I don't want to pay $1.99 for this ringtone for whatever
I
reason.
mean, it also depended on what phone you had too, because back in the day with Apple, you couldn't even do that.
No, but you could do it with like a Nokia or something like that if you had it.
Yeah. You definitely could do it with those. But yeah, I mean,
I
Napster definitely changed the game until these other groups and apps started popping up everywhere, which is Kazaa, LimeWire. You also had Morpheus. They kind of joined this group of apps because when Napster shut down, which is roughly about 2001, the digital piracy thing didn't die. It actually just
became more.
It became much more. It fractured into these programs, like I said, Kazaa, Morpheus, LimeWire. They filled this void that Napster kind of just left. And Napster was a really good program. Like, as far as programs and how it worked, like, it was flawless the way that it worked. These other programs, like I explained before, you download these files called torrents, and they download just small bits and pieces from a bunch of other people that have that same file. So they became more of a household name, especially LimeWire. But
LimeWire especially.
You really have this like Russian roulette when you search for a song, because you can search for, say, 8 Mile, and you might get like 40 results. And now you're like, well, shit, which one is the real 8 Mile? And which one is a virus? Which one is going to be like some weird guy? Like, because you don't know, like, you just don't know like which song is actually going to be
right. And that was the risk that you would take every time that you would go on here and start downloading these songs. And it's crazy that, for like example, like, some viruses would be disguised as songs like, Britney Spears, Eminem, and even be like fake Windows updates, like basically like common traps here. But like, a file might say MP3, but it actually might be EXE. Many computers died, for our sins in this case. But, it's true because, again, like you're saying, like, you don't know what you're downloading. You have no idea. And so all of a sudden, like, you could start up your computer and all of a sudden, time to die. And you're like, wait, what? Did that thing just tell me? And then all of a sudden it just like, psh, and it like blows up, or, it just fries the hard drive or whatever the hell it is. And you're just like, well, shit, I guess I got to go buy a new computer now.
Well, there was one of these like viruses that, I don't know if it was really a virus, but it was one of these things like when you would download, it would be like Britney Spears or Eminem, and it would just be a Bill Clinton, the sound clip of "I didn't have sexual relations with that woman." It would just be that sound clip, but it was a file that just spread. Like, people would label it like 8 Mile Eminem, or like, oops, I did it again, Britney Spears. But it would be like, I did not have sexual relations.
Well,
like,
it's almost getting Rickrolled.
Yeah.
In that sense.
It's Bill Clinton rolled, I guess. I don't know.
I guess he's like, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, people like renamed files. They just uploaded a remix, like claiming they were like the real versions. Just the amount of online trolls that lived in these, torrent sites were just probably in the thousands, millions. I mean, you just could not trust anything. It was when I say Russian roulette, it was a Russian roulette. Like, you really just had to run the risk of like, do I really want the song? Do I really want to trust this movie? Like, I have to really get the best virus software on my computer.
Well, and even back in the day, I don't even think too many virus softwares were even that great to deal with some of this stuff that was even going on.
You had virus software, but you had to you definitely had to make sure your virus software was up to date. Because your virus software, I know for download, I used a lot of these, but like I wasn't like constantly on there like.
He's like, I gotta get
I wasn't like, yeah, I wasn't. I bought most of my CDs, but for the most part, like I would download a song here or there just to have a digital version of it. But
No, I mean, but you're right. But no, I mean, most people even back then it'd be like, all right, let me show you my collection of CDs here in my little CD organizer.
I can tell you back in the day,
Back in the day.
when we were going to Dialogue Church, I definitely downloaded Photoshop.
Of course you did.
But
no, I mean,
but yeah, I mean there are definitely some if you were daring enough to try to download programs, that's where a lot of viruses lived. And
I figured as much.
you could definitely have your virus software like, nope, that's quarantined. Nope, that's quarantined. That's quarantined. And you're like, yeah, maybe not.
Let's just gotta get rid of it. No, but I mean, but for real though, I mean, if you think about it, like I said, virus software has definitely come a long ways nowadays. But at the same time, back then, I'm not saying it, like I said, it wasn't, as I wouldn't say as powerful, but like it wasn't. I mean, yes, sure, there was regulations, there was this, there was that. It was trying to like figure out what is good versus not. But I feel like now, like if you took a virus software from today and you used it back then, oh, I mean, absolutely, I think it would do a better job than probably what it was doing back then.
Oh yeah, cool. I mean, it's based on the definitions and what the technology is. But I mean, back then,
it was kind of like here's your basic, here you go. Hopefully, you don't screw it up, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But it is
So-
like I said.
the other thing, we kind of talked a little bit about this already, but the bootleg movies, I mean, the theater recordings, the cameras obviously were shaky because people were holding cameras, and there were, like I said before, silhouettes of people walking across the screen. The audio was horrendous. I mean, it was, it was just. The audio was so muffled. Like sometimes you couldn't even understand like what people were saying. Like you're like, I don't even know what is happening in this movie because I can't hear what people are saying.
Or even that, or you hear like random words and you'd be like, boobs. And you're like, what? That was that said that in the movie? Like what?
Or
Or you hear random farts
dude,
or burps.
can you move away from the dude who's coughing
right?
for a minute?
Or all of a sudden you hear. And you're just like, wait, what is going on right now? No, but like that's what I'm saying. Like it felt like you were taking a risk in doing that as well, but at the same time, like you said, you have no idea what you're going to be watching at this point because like again, it's that whole Russian roulette. It's like, oh, I guess life is like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're going to get. But
and then at some point, everybody knew someone swore they had Star Wars Episode 3 weeks before it hit DVD. Only for it to look like it was filmed inside of a dumpster, which is a pretty accurate description. Because if you've ever seen like a bootleg filmed movie, it
looks like dog shit.
It's really, really terrible. I mean, it's grainy. It's just bad.
Well,
it's real bad.
And again, you're talking about technology. So like a phone back then versus now. I mean, a phone nowadays, I think would do a hell of a lot. Of course, it's going to do a hell of a lot better job because of the technology with the cameras. But like back then, especially if you had like a Nokia or something smaller like that, and the camera was just like a 2 megapixel or something like that smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, it would like you're saying, it'd be like kind of wavy, and it's like almost moving a lot of the times, and you're just like. You're kind of up and down all the time, and you're like, what?
And
are you moving?
And most of the time, like the cameras weren't quite always on the screen, and then some like midway through, like the guy would just adjust, and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, oh shit, what is that?
Shit. Yeah. And software piracy, like craft copies of Photoshop, Microsoft Office, even games. Keygens were huge. Those were programs that generated fake serial numbers for programs. So if you needed a program that needed a serial number to unlock the paid version, they did keygens for those. Those were everywhere, and they usually came with these like insane techno music that blasted when you open these keygens.
I mean,
we talked already about this, like mislabeled file horror. Like when you download Shrek 2 and you get something very much not kid friendly. That's the paranoia of, what did I actually just open?
What is Shrek and Donkey doing? what are they doing over there? No, and like
this is definitely not Shrek.
This Donkey, what are you doing? I was like, no. I mean, and so here's a good talking point here. So parents walking in while you're trying to watch your downloaded movie, only for it to be a shaky cam of Fast and Furious with a guy coughing into the mic every 5 seconds. Shut up! I was like, no, but like, it's not wrong. I mean, you're looking at this, and I know we're joking about it, but I mean, unfortunately, it's the truth. I mean, and again, we still see it nowadays. I mean,
people are still. I mean, and that doesn't quite happen here in the U.S. because it's.
Oh no! I mean,
it's people like in other countries that are going to these theaters and they're recording.
Honestly, in every film, like when it comes to like Blu-ray or even like you're streaming and stuff, it literally will state the piracy laws in every film that you're doing, because it'll like say it in the very beginning and then or like at the end, or actually they might do it at the beginning and the end depending on what that is. But the point we're trying to make is here, folks. If you're stupid enough to do this, just be fair one about the risk, because guess what? Again, if you want to walk in and you're seeing a movie that, you're like, seriously, Shrek, what are you doing with Donkey? And Donkey, what are you doing with Fiona? I'm like, this isn't the right movie. What is going on here?
That doesn't go there.
Excuse me. There's plenty of other. Never mind. No, I'm not going down there. But like, like again,
you have Fiona for that.
Yeah. Okay. Don't go any further than that. I'm only gonna say that. Don't do that right now. But like, I will say this though, and it's funny because like we mentioned the Photoshop, Microsoft, all that stuff. So like Microsoft, especially like, I just remember like, you're talking like 98 or 90 or 95 is the earliest I can remember. 95, 98, what was it? Windows XP, or it was 2000 XP, Vista, all this, and 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever the hell we're on now. So I remember all that stuff, and it's just funny that, why would you, this is just me, like if, most PCs, like especially with Microsoft, would come with.
I don't know why you would download.
I don't know why
Windows Update on like LimeWire or something. I don't. That's weird.
That is weird because I mean, granted, back in the day, it was free. Like for the like once you bought Microsoft.
Yeah, once you had Windows, you really didn't have to worry about
buying it and doing it. But now, like now it's a paid subscription, that kind of stuff. But like even Photoshop, I would assume back in the
but even I mean, Windows updates just automatically update.
Well, correct, but then of course there was a certain time where it's like, okay, well now we're gonna make you pay every year, and it's like, okay, thanks for making me pay for all the damn updates that you want to do with my computer now, but whatever. And then especially games, especially like, your early version of games. So like, I remember playing like Command and Conquer Generals like on the computer and things like that. And I know people now because it's such. I know back then it was such a popular like series of games and stuff. I mean, people will literally download we'll call it, I guess, a torrent file of it, and like try to match certain things and make sure like it was actually still the original game. Or what some games, like for example like Age of Mythology, have done, like now they're like, oh, why don't we just remaster it? I'm like, I mean, you can, but most people are probably gonna be like, hey, let me go find a torrent file of it.
I think people were like more so on the like computer games, like people would do like The Sims or Diablo like that. I think that people were downloading a lot of those like bigger name computer games. But yeah, I mean, those, if you were like I said before, if you were downloading software, you really had to be cautious, because if you were looking up like World of Warcraft, you could come up with literally hundreds of results, and you really had to filter through like which one was a good one, which one was a real one, which one is potentially a virus. Because it was like it was a roulette wheel, and you just had to be like, I'm gonna try this one,
and then all of a sudden you're like, it's like, oh, by the way, your computer is gonna shut down.
Oh, yeah.
And you're
your computer's fucked now, and you're never gonna be able to use it again.
Have a good day.
And good night. And there's now smoke coming out of your keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the screen, it's just a big old smiley face. You're like, wait, what? And then now you're just like, shit, and I gotta go buy a $200 PC or whatever it was at the time. But
yeah.
Anyways, I think we should move right into our next segment here.
Our what if, but stupid.
What if?
But stupid.
Oh man, I really love that.
Yeah, that's right. We got what if but stupid. If you don't know what this is, we come up with a what if scenario, but it's extremely stupid. And this week, this round of what if but stupid has to do with digital piracy, but we've tied in a pirate theme to it, and it is quite stupid because what if every pirated movie triggered a pirate raid in real life?
So I will say this: the one movie and I know it's going to sound really stupid, but it kind of reminds me of the early version of the SpongeBob movie, like in the very beginning. You only see a bunch of pirates like showing up to the movie theater. That's kind of what I would think, but it'd be weird to like, arr, you know, and they all just show up in your household, and you're like, what the hell are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
You're like, we're just here to watch the movie, bro. You pirated the movie, right? Like, you're like, wait, what? It's like,
So we'll talk the setup and then we'll get into theory. But it's 2003. You just downloaded Shrek 2. Is it Shrek 2?
is it Fiona?
Fiona. So you downloaded Shrek 2 on LimeWire. Your computer's wheezing, your dial-up screaming, and your little brother's burning The Matrix to a CD labeled "Not Porn." Life is good. Then your walls explode. A cannonball blasts through your living room. Smoke everywhere. Out steps a man with an eye patch, a trench coat, and an FBI badge shaped like a skull, and he shouts, "Federal Bureau of Internet, prepare to be boarded, ye scurvy downloader."
That is the weirdest. If an FBI agent came in and said, "Federal Bureau of Internet, prepare to be boarded, you scurvy downloader," like I would be like, "What the hell are you doing in my house? And why did you think that was a good line to start off with?" Like, I know AI, created some of this, but I'm like, "Damn, dude, like that's just weird in my opinion." And then,
Well, it is what if but stupid. So here we
good
go.
old theory time. Ready? So the U.S. government, tired of people pirating the Fast and Furious, decides to fight fire with fire, or more accurately, pirates with pirates. So they launched the FBI Pirate Division, a top secret task force made up entirely of ex-SeaWorld employees, drunk Ren Fair actors, and one guy who thought Blackbeard was a job posting. There you go. Instead of flashbangs, they use smoke bombs shaped like parrots. There you go. Instead of handcuffs, they slap on iron shackles and yell, "You've been boarded." Their motto, "Arg, dead man see no torrents." Like I would be like, what? And this is a really yeah, and you got to talk like this. It's always like in a lot of like TV shows. I'm actually thinking of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Will was like in that pirate themed restaurant. He's like, "Arg, mateys," and he's trying to speak like that. And I'm sitting there like, why are you trying so hard? Like, you just stop it. Like, if it's natural, or just like in Dodgeball, like Pirate Steve, or was it Pete? Is it Pete or Steve?
I think it's Steve.
It's Steve. Like, he was natural at it, like when he's doing that. But like, if you're overdoing it, like, come on, like that's just weird in my opinion.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. I mean, I kind of like, and I know talking about ice is kind of a sensitive topic, but like I kind of like think of this is more of a over exaggerated, obviously, but like when you literally put job postings for ICE, I think of this as like ex-SeaWorld employees drunk. Like, is it really that different?
Wow, he's like, and Matt's going hardcore on this one. No, I mean, you're not far off. I mean, drunk Ren Fair actors, one guy who thought Blackbeard was a job posting. Like, I mean, actually, Matt could fit the description of Blackbeard right now.
Right there. So a little bit of a chain reaction here. So pirate raids sweep the nation. Every dorm room, every basement, every teenager who downloaded Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish faces the wrath of Captain Justice and the FBI Buccaneers. They don't issue fines. They seize booty. Your Xbox gone. Your mom's wine rack confiscated for evidence. Your cat drafted into service as a ship's lookout.
Okay, hold on a second. Before you go any further, they don't issue fines. They seize booty.
They seize booty.
I understand the pirate thing here, but I mean, yeah,
Hey.
I'm going to seize your booty. Like that's, I'm sorry. I know my mind went there for a second, but come on, man. Like, really?
The booty. Not
right.
like a literal booty.
Not like my booty.
Not like an ass.
Not like ass.
But booty. Like pirate booty.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So your Xbox gone. Your mom's wine rack gets confiscated for evidence.
Yeah, you're right.
Your cat is drafted into service as a ship's lookout. Internet forums fill with reports. They just raided my neighbor for torrenting SpongeBob. They left his Wi-Fi router and his dad.
What?
What? Comcast starts offering anti-boarding insurance for $29.99 a month.
That's weird. Oh, God.
Hollywood releases anti-piracy PSAs featuring Johnny Depp, but he keeps accidentally joining the raids and looting the craft services table.
I could all be like, "Where's the rum?" Just anyone got rum in here like that? I don't know why he would. I just feel like he would be like, "Yeah, okay, so we don't do anti-piracy," and he's like, and right at the end he'd be like, anyone got rum? Or just like as he's like walking away, and like actually he starts running like his weird. This little
he's
why.
got the-
But yeah.
The pirate division even has their own reality show, Cops Yo Ho Edition.
That could go so many different
Yeah.
ways. That could
Every
seriously.
episode ends with a suspect forced to walk the plank
Oh,
into a kiddie pool full of AOL CDs.
Oh, God, that's oh man, I can only imagine that. That would be cool if we could get like an AI photo of that or something like.
Oh, God.
But good old verdict, right? So in this world, piracy doesn't kill movies; it fuels the greatest government crossover since Area 51 met Margaritaville. The FBI's arrest sounds. Oh, sorry. The FBI's arrest record sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean fan fiction. Congress debates whether pirates count as federal employees. The moral: don't torrent Finding Nemo, or the next thing you'll find is an FBI pirate swinging through your window, yelling, "Arg! Show me your hard drive, you filthy landlubber!" Like I would be like, wait, what did Nemo? Or actually, Dory? Where did you find that? What is that? It's not 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney over here. It's
boy.
something totally different. But I mean, this would be funny to literally see in real life. But
it would be funny. It's really stupid.
oh, it's extremely stupid. But I mean, could you imagine like just sitting there for all of a second and like you're playing a game and all of a sudden you're just like, "Arg, you landlubber! Let me, you're under arrest for, for whatever the hell it was at the time that you were doing." And
You're walking the plank for downloading that game.
he's like, "And
You filthy landlubber.
you got to walk the plank with a kiddie pool full of AOL CDs." You're like, "Wait, what am I doing?" And then they actually show up with this like tiny little ass pool, and you're sitting there like, "Dude, I can't fit in that thing." You're like, "Well, you got to walk the plank anyways," and just and you're like, "Wait, what?" I feel like this whole
my gosh.
thing could be really funny to watch, but I mean, I would not want to be a part of it. I think I honestly,
definitely
brother,
not.
I would probably laugh so hard that they probably would throw me into serious jail because I didn't think this was real. I don't know. Thank God this isn't a real thing, because if it was,
No, it's pretty hilarious.
oh God.
Yeah.
But anyways,
So that was What If, but stupid. Yeah.
now we're gonna jump right into the Pirate Bay and the Torrens takeover. So yes,
Pirate Bay was huge, and I believe Pirate Bay was based in Sweden.
that would make sense.
Pirate Bay was, I believe, launched in 2003. It was, I would say it was more than, I mean, it was a website, but it was more than a website because Pirate Bay, like, it was based on servers. So at some point, like, the FBI got involved and they were trying to, like, shut down these, like, individual cells. Then this is, like, kind of where Pirate Bay changed the game. So, LimeWire, Kazaa, Morpheus, like, they were more like Napster, but operated more like how Pirate Bay did at the time. And they, instead of kind of like one, you downloaded one song at a time, and it was like, the peer-to-peer transfer. This is like, now you can suddenly get like whole albums in basically like hours instead of days. You can download multiple songs, entire albums. Like, you can download and fill, at this point, like, you could fill an entire iPod with 4,000 songs, 6,000 songs in probably a day or two. You know what I mean?
Well, it was huge. Absolutely.
You could just download. And this is where, like, the torrents were different, because you just downloaded pieces of these files from dozens of people at one time.
Well, yeah, because like, so I know we mentioned before that, the way Napster and all that, like, yeah, you would download Like so I guess it is. So basically, they just took that same concept, but in this sense, they were doing it a lot faster.
Yeah, because those worked in one way where you were sharing it with less people because it
Yeah,
was
okay.
like if you uploaded a song, you were sharing it with kind of less people.
So, but in this case, because it was, let's say, stored here, then you could go on and be like, oh, okay, cool, and then grab it, and then
Because
basically,
the way that torrents worked is if you uploaded this song, it would go into this like
like a library.
like a library type thing, and like I said before, you weren't the only one that might have uploaded that same song. So
Yeah.
and what they also called it was once you downloaded it, if you never deleted it, you would also be a seeder. So if somebody else were to go on there and we're using 8 Mile as one of the examples. So if I downloaded 8 Mile and I just never deleted it out of the torrent, application that I have, whatever, I don't have one right now, obviously.
He's like, wait, don't come after me.
But if I downloaded one, and left it in there, I would seed it, which is what basically you were a leecher or a seeder or both. So when you were,
You were probably both.
but those were it was like the seeding and ratio. You weren't just supposed to leech, which is when you download, but you were also supposed to seed, which is when other people go to click on 8 Mile, they're trying to download it. So the more people that you have seeding, the faster your download's going to be. So that's where Pirate Bay like really changed the game because you could see how many seeders and how many leechers there were. If your leecher count was higher and your seed count was lower, then you're like, no, I'm not doing that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's like almost like a bartering system. Like you had to give, but also take, to
Right.
be able to receive the same things. Which, I mean, it makes sense. And I mean, when you're talking about it like this, it's just let's just go into this real quick. Like Pirate Bay at the time was like the only site that where you could download a full Batman movie and a PDF on how to make a bong out of a Pringles can at the same time. That's a quite interesting, thing. I guess I guess if you want to learn how to make a bong out of Pringles, I mean, go be my guest. I guess, and at the same time, download. And this probably time it would have been the, Matt's favorite version of Batman. No, I'm joking. I know I'm joking. He's like, shut up. He's like, let me tell you, the real Batman was Michael Keaton. Okay. Or it would have been somebody. It's like, actually, no, George Clooney was his favorite, just so you know.
Well, I mean, Pirate Bay had pretty much, I mean, they had music, they had movies, software. They did have like ebooks and like other things. So I don't know if you could find if you could find a PDF on how to make a bong out of a Pringles can.
I mean, YouTube nowadays probably could show you how.
Yeah, I mean, if you just went to YouTube, you probably can just get it a lot quicker. Although, I mean, YouTube probably was around. What, 2000?
I think it was. Yeah, it was probably. Well, actually, I think it was. Actually, you know what? Go ahead, keep talking. I'll look it up real quick.
But yeah, I mean, Pirate Bay, like I said, it was more than just a website. The founders openly mocked governments and corporations trying to shut them down, and they had these Pirate Bay trials in Sweden that was global news, and yeah, I mean, it was Pirate Bay really was. It was the start of something because when you look at Napster and you look at LimeWire, you look at Morpheus, and then now you have Pirate Bay. This was like people want to have access to this material. They want to have access, and let's face it, like movies, TV shows, and music was what people were streaming the most. I mean, obviously, yes, you have access to video, to games and software and all these other things, but piracy proved that there was a demand for instant access. And now what came out of Pirate Bay and all this other stuff is Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, and Apple Music.
Well, I mean, and then you could, mention all the other like streaming services or even like the, like Google music or like, you know what I'm saying? Like just all the different things that we have now, because you're right. I mean, unfortunately, you have to, in this case, it's weird to say that sometimes you have to break a law to like create other things that come out from it, because like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, right? So like, I know I'm going to give you a history lesson here. So, when you're talking about, for example, alcohol, right? So like when we've had alcohol for century, or actually probably millennia, right? We've had it for a long time. And so, when we had the prohibition and we had, I think it was the 19th Amendment or something like that. But anyways, we didn't allow alcohol to be in, and then people were bootlegging and people were doing all this stuff and people were doing, whatever they needed to get alcohol. And then, oh wait, we made another amendment to bring it back and say, hey, guess what? Now we're going to bring alcohol, and it's, officially like it null and voids the last amendment. So it's funny how like I'm not, kind of looking at that. I mean, in the sense of this, where, people were
No way.
what
The Pirate Bay still is open.
is it still open? Oh my God!
Wow.
People, don't do it! Don't do it!
Don't do it.
Don't do it!
I just went to the site, but I was like, no way is that
he's
site
like,
still open.
delete. He's like, delete my history, delete everything. No, so
Wow.
it's crazy to think of it like that, because like, you had to break some laws, some rules, all these things to be able to get to where we're at now. And I was going to tell you, so YouTube actually came out February 14th of 2005. And apparently it said the public beta version launched on April 23rd, 2005. And the first video in YouTube, I kid you not, it says, me at the zoo. That was the very first YouTube video.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. It's different. But my point is like, during that time frame, sure. I mean, you could have done YouTube, you could have done whatever. But I mean, like we said, it's interesting how, these things that came into play, like listening to music or watching movies or doing all this stuff. I mean, like, yeah, you saw like, in this case, like Blockbuster goes out of business and then Netflix kind of takes over. And then Netflix became one of the very first streaming services for like movies and other things like that, and then Spotify later on, because it became an app, and, people were like, oh, I don't want to stick with like Apple Music or some of the other like
Right.
musics, like in that sense. Then people would be like, oh, so if I get a Spotify account, I can go in, you can pay for a free, or you don't have to pay anything at all, or you can do a premium version. But again, I used to have Apple. I remember using it for the longest time. And then I was like, why am I paying for that? Why am I paying for every single song? And then, Spotify was like, hey man, why don't you just come over here? We have all these free songs for you. Now, the only like nowadays, I would say like there are some artists that don't, put a lot of their stuff on Spotify or other things, because they usually do like an Apple exclusive or other means in that sense. But I mean,
Yeah.
typically Spotify is pretty well known to have a lot of artists and stuff like that, because as long as you have a higher listening count, then that's how you would get your money and everything else. But
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is like the industry fought against piracy and then basically copied it. Like they copied what Napster did, they copied what Pirate Bay was doing, and basically were like, "Hey, they're making access to this. Like we're gonna do the very same thing." So, Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, Apple, and I mean now it's like you look at HBO, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. I mean, now everything is
all this
like
stuff,
like
yeah.
streaming services. Now people don't necessarily. I mean, if you don't want to pay for
cable,
like 12 different streaming services, sure, you can. I just went to Pirate Bay. Not that I obviously
it's like
didn't
I just did everything. No, I'm joking.
but like, if you don't want to do like 12 different streaming subscriptions to watch everything, like, sure, you probably could still torrent things, but
I mean,
it's really just like they made access, like, you have to realize back then you had to watch TV shows when they were on, because if
Right.
you didn't, you missed it, and you just couldn't go back to like, I'm gonna go back and watch it again. No. If you didn't watch it when it was on, guess what? You fucking missed it, and you could not watch it again.
Well, hold on. The only way you could do that is if you DVR'd it.
If you did,
If
but
you
if
did,
you didn't,
well, no. But I mean, like beforehand, yes, you actually already. Here we go. We're gonna go old school. Ready? Back in the day when you had VHS tapes, you actually had to put one in to record whatever you wanted to watch.
unless they ended up putting it in the on demand.
Well,
right.
correct. Yes.
You could go in your on demand and be like, oh, they put it in the on demand. But like most of the time when you had to watch a show, you had to watch a show. But
you are right.
I'll say it, with Pirate Bay or with Kazaa or LimeWire or these other sites, like you could easily just go in there and be like, oh, I didn't watch like whatever the show was, and download that episode and watch it. I mean, number one, you probably would get the Canadian version because that's typically
Yeah, that's true.
that's typically like the version that you would get is the like the Canadian broadcast of it. But you could have done that back in the early 2000s. Nowadays, you can just get the subscription, and
Right.
I mean, Peacock is. I mean, I think I pay less than $5 for Peacock, but
I think,
um,
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, well, it depends on what you're getting, but like, I do agree with you. Like, and especially where like Disney, for example, has
everything's available, dude. It's
well,
like
no, I agree, but like, you look at Disney. I mean, yes, Disney with Hulu, and then like they have their different subscriptions. Like
I get the
ESPN,
three of them where they're. I mean, I
the
get
HBO
like
Max. You're talking about,
yeah,
right?
the HBO Max, the Disney, and whatever the third one is.
Yeah, Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu. Yeah.
No, but like, because like when you're looking at all those, and like, yeah, if you're trying to save money, sure. I mean, you can combine as many as you can and try to do it like that. I mean, it makes more sense to do it like that. I know some subscriptions, unfortunately, they don't have, like for example, like I know Stars, Encore, like all those random ones. Typically, you'd have to go into like Hulu, or you have to go into like Amazon or HBO, or one of the three or whatever. Like you'd have to go in and be like, okay, I want to add this one. I want to add this one,
Right.
because or even like AMC. Mr. Good old AMC over here as I'm looking at him. Like you'd have to get certain ones separately because
Yeah, I do that in Prime, but you can also. I mean, if you and this is a little tangent, not part of the piracy thing, but if you want to look for deals on like, hey, I really want to get like Apple TV, or how do I not pay for Netflix, or how do I not pay for Paramount Plus? There are certain ways. You can look at your cell service, like if you have T-Mobile or Verizon,
right,
because a lot of times, like I don't pay for Apple TV, and I also don't pay for Netflix because of T-Mobile.
true,
Um,
makes sense.
I could also not pay for Paramount Plus because I do Walmart Plus
Yeah, so I mean, I guess
or the Walmart, the Walmart, the premium Walmart, because we do Scan and Go all the time. But
Yeah.
I choose to pay for it because I do it through Amazon, because our Roku doesn't work with Paramount Plus. But
no, but I agree with you. There's different deals. There's different things. I know, like for example, like military. I know Matt. Yes, I know. He's like, well, yeah, whatever, man. Look, I'm trying to save some money too. So like, if you look at certain deals, like I know Peacock. I want to say Peacock and a few others. They do like military discounts and other things like that. I think Peacock at one point you could get like a whole year for like $2.99 or $7.99, whatever the heck it was at the time, to like for a whole year and like continuously doing it. So like there's different things you can always look at. I mean, if you have that kind of discount or something like that, but like I said, Matt, I can agree with like, yes, you can look at different things doing all that stuff. I mean, again, at the end of the day, when you're looking at piracy, especially nowadays, I mean, do you really? I understand back in the like, I don't know if it's still technically the same. I would assume it's probably around the same for like the fines you would get. If you want to go down this rabbit hole and you want to do it yourself, I'm not promoting it. I'm saying if you want to do this and you're thinking to yourself, okay, let's do it, and then the FBI finds out or whoever, good luck trying to pay a $250,000 fine.
It's a more serious thing now, and this is like the thing that you have to be more serious about, because I mean back when this became a thing, I mean this was where you really saw those like FBI warning screens.
Yeah, a lot more
on movies. I mean, you see them on almost every movie that you see now.
Actually,
you
I'm
see
pretty
them
sure
on
you see it on everything now.
You see them on movies. You see them on.
Well, you don't usually see them on TV shows as much, but I know definitely movies in the beginning or even at the end, they will, especially if you buy like a DVD or a
Yes.
Blu-ray, you will see that at the beginning or end.
Yeah, and you'll see them. If not a lot of people don't buy music, but like you'll see you'll see the copyright, and you'll see like the anti-privacy. Like you'll see like a little. I mean, usually it's very very small text, but you'll see like the anti like privacy stuff. Like,
well, and so like prime example, it's like for us, like when we're recording all this, and like we have to think about different sounds or using images or things like that. Like we have to think about all this too, because we don't want to get fined for a copyrighted thing,
Right.
because again, it kind of coincides with this, because there's fines, there's things that you don't want to get caught for. So like, that's why we're saying, like, you do that. That's on your own accord. We are not promoting.
No,
any of
John,
this.
I won't share my 8 Mile with you.
God dang it, Matt. Come on, man. No, but, I know we've been talking about this for a while,
I
but
will share my copy of Shrek 2.
he's like, if you want to watch it, no,
It might not be Shrek 2.
it might be not porn, as they like to call it. No, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is, when we're looking at all this, it's funny how you think about how illegal it was. Of course, even well before that, I mean, people were doing it still anyways, but then they had to make these laws. And then how these brands are really these applications were taking these same ideas and now they're introducing it into the 21st century. And now they're, of course, now they're making money off of literally illegal means that were
Right.
done way back when. And so it's just funny how you see this and how it's transformed. Literally how something that
Right.
was basically against the law has transformed how we
So
do
you
things
could
today.
you could almost say, and this might be a bold claim,
Oh boy.
but you could almost say that those people, and I say those people because those people are also me.
Okay, fair enough.
But those people who would be digital pirates
Arg. No.
are those digital pirates, those landlubbers. No, the digital pirates, they weren't just rebels. They were beta testers,
Well,
right? They were beta testers for the streaming future that was to come.
honestly, they're almost revolutionary. Like they were revolutionary, individuals that created something that, granted, we're not
Because if it
condoning
wasn't
this.
for us, right? If it wasn't for us
stealing music,
stealing music and movies, would we have Spotify? Would we have Netflix? Would we have like all of these things? Like would the industry have said, "Wow, there's a demand for this. This is what people want."
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, and this is another prime example. I mean, the fact that for example, I'm thinking of like Disney Plus. When they just said, "Hey, we're gonna," even though this is also a lawsuit at the time, when they decided, "Hey, instead of we're only going to do a short amount of time in the theaters, and then they're going to go right into Disney Plus, like go straight in." So one movie I was thinking of, and I know Matt knows it too, was Black Widow, right? Because at the time they were like, "Oh, why don't we just see how well this works?" Granted, they found out really quick that was the worst thing they could do because
Yeah.
they also screwed it. A lot of the actors not getting, the actual like fun or basically the money that they were making off of it. So, I mean, sure. I mean, I guess that was a little beta testing in that sense in doing that. But like now, people realize like, no, that's not the right way to do it. I mean, if you're going to make a movie, make the movie, put it in the theaters, see how well it does. And of course, on streaming, you're still getting, I would think for them, they're still getting that money. Even though the subscription is there, they're still like the amount of views you would think that they would have from the movie and things like they still would get royalties and they would still get certain things from this. And so like even hopefully the actors would still get something if people were still watching it from the streaming or from doing
Yeah.
something, just like the artists get royalties all the time as long as they own that music or if it's that company. And that's that's a whole nother ballgame. I'm not going down that hole. He's like, no, don't do that. No, but I guess like we said, at the end of the day, to each their own. But guess what? Breaking the rules
Yeah.
sometimes makes
I-
things better, I guess.
I will throw the disclaimer out. If you think that it's a good idea nowadays, I would just throw this disclaimer. Don't.
Don't even.
I
The
mean,
technology
there is just so much more better technology right now. Just get a Spotify. I mean, you can do it for free. Yes, I understand. Well, I don't like ads. Who cares? Like, right?
like
If you
that's
can
what
get
do,
a
that's what
you
gotta
can
do.
get a Spotify account. It's not that expensive. Like, do Spotify, do Netflix. Like, get subscriptions to these things. Like, you don't need to download music or movies. Like, come on. Like,
Just come on.
come on now.
Don't
come
be
on.
stupid.
There is like literally probably thousands of hours of music, of movies, of TV shows that you can stream to your heart's content. Yet I cannot find one damn thing to watch on any of the subscriptions that I have.
That is
And
true.
I go through all of them almost every single night. And I go, why can I not find any goddamn thing to watch?
Well, unless
But I still would not go to a torrent site to be like, Hey, let me check out Pirate Bay and see what's on. Let me check out Pirate Bay and set sail.
He's like, you know what? Let's watch Pirates of the Caribbean tonight.
See if I can get myself a pirate raid.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, like I said, they just start swinging in and be like, "Where's your booty?" You're like, it's
I'm
sitting on the
I'm
couch.
I'm sitting on it.
No, not that booty, my friend. I was like, wait, what? You know what booty I'm talking about. No, I just, like I said, I agree with you, Matt. I think at the end of the day, we have so much stuff that comes out. I mean, here's another example. Like you look at Pluto TV or Tubi or something like that. Those two right there are free. And they actually have a lot of very old, I would say older-ish movies and like TV shows and stuff. And they randomly put stuff on there all the time. So like, granted, Pluto is like your live television like kind of service in that sense.
I think like Tubi also has like I think Tubi was the one that had the whole season of G.I. Joe. Was it G.I. Joe and like Transformers?
Yeah. It was like G.I. Joe. No, yes, the old 80s. Yeah.
Now, I wish one of these services would actually have the G.I. Joe movie without having to fucking pay for it, because
that's true.
The one thing I've wanted to watch for the longest time, and I
Yes.
don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, because it's
And
like
no site has this actual fucking movie.
well, no, I mean it's true because unfortunately, like you think about like certain movies or TV shows or even like specials.
Not the live action one. I'm talking the actual
no.
like animated movie
yeah.
that they made in like 84 or something, like 85.
No, I agree with you because if you do, you know what I'm gonna say, man. If you find it, you let me know and then we'll watch it together. How about that? We'll have a little GI Joe movie night or something. No, but like I guess like we said, to each their own. Do your own thing.
Don't be a pirate.
Don't be your pirate.
Arr.
Or don't be asking for booty all of a sudden. You're like, wait, what?
Wait,
hey,
what?
honey, can I get no? Don't be asking that question to your wife or your spouse or whoever it is.
I need that booty.
Yeah, good luck with Danielle tonight. No. Anyways, I know we've been talking about this for so long, but again, just check this episode out, share it to all your friends, do all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot, John.
Oh God, are we doing this?
Oh, I almost forgot about this.
Oh, I was hoping you
know what?
forgot. I really was hoping you forgot.
I almost forgot about this. If you didn't check out our previous week's episode, we talked about wrestling, and we had this really epic intro that we did as Undertaker and Paul Bear. Well, you know what? I cut a certain sound clip from our intro.
Yes, and this is our copyright, just so we're clear.
And I put it on one of our buttons here, and I just wanted to play it for y'all because I think it's just absolutely epic.
Oh yeah.
That
That was Matt, by the way. That was not me.
That definitely is John because my voice.
Yes.
That is definitely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so epic.
I will say this.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you want to check that episode out, it's honestly, at least the beginning is hilarious. I know we talked about some really cool stuff.
Oh, it's
in
so
there, too.
funny.
But I mean, just doing that intro, I honestly was.
You can
laughing.
actually find just the intro. I would want you to listen to the whole episode, but if you want to just check out just the intro, I did make it a short clip, so you can go to our YouTube page and click on Shorts, and it's one of the first clips that's there.
Good. I guess I'll have to listen to it later because I haven't listened to that whole thing.
It's really, really funny.
I mean,
yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I know, like I said, we're looking at trying to do some cool stuff here shortly when it comes to like merch and all that stuff later on. I know Matt's like, no, we're not. And I'm like, yeah, we are. Don't you worry. But we'll figure it out later. But yeah, I mean, if you're like thinking about Christmas and stuff, I know we have some of our older stuff that we have. But I mean, if we come up with something new, great. If not, then we'll just probably throw up the old, Christmas themed, stuff that we had before. But anyways, boys and girls, hopefully you have a great night, great day, all whatever it is, and then stay tuned for next time.